Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you doing? I wanted to finally do this video that I've been planning to do for like, excuse me, 2 weeks, and I finally getting around to it. But I wanted to kind of do my that final tournament I mentioned on the last tournament video that I did on the Hudson River, and then I want to talk about how the year went overall, and just kind of give you a synopsis of my 2022 tournament season. So. I had taken a couple years off. The first year I took off was when we had COVID. It was always kind of up in the air whether we were going to fish or not. And then they wound, and I do fish, just a reminder, I fish with Bergen Bassmasters in New Jersey. Even though it's Bergen Bassmasters and it's in New Jersey, everything we fish was always Connecticut or New York, Vermont, and not really New Jersey. First year 2 years ago I didn't fish because of COVID came, and the schedule was kind of iffy, so I bagged it. And the year after I moved up here to New Hampshire, so I didn't fish that year either. So I came back this year, the schedule looked pretty good. I wanted to kind of see how I felt about the travel. Really the only lake that we used to fish where I lived in Jersey compared to where I live now, that was further for me is Candlewood. Even though it's an easy ride because it's all highway from where I live. Miles-wise, it's further. It was only like 80, 85 miles from my house in Jersey. Up here, it's about 160, but it's all, highway, so it doesn't take really that long to get there. So I figured I'd give it a try and see how it was with the travel and everything. So here's how my season went, and I'll get to that last tournament at the end. We opened up on, I wrote these down because I couldn't remember everything. We opened up on Candlewood on April 23rd, and it was an okay tournament. I went up finishing 7th. And the way we do our points in Bergen is first is 40, second is 39, 38, and it goes down. So if you're in 7th, which I was, you got 34 points. So after that one, not too bad. Anytime I can get like in that top 5 to 10 for that opener or for any tournament, you're going to get at least, as long as you can get at least 30 to 35 points, you're not getting like hammered. The second tournament is the one that killed me, as it turned out, was our second tournament on Candlewood. And you guys can go back and see all my tournament reports on all these. That for me was a particularly tough tournament. I think this year, especially on Candlewood, there was just so many tournaments early in the season. I think those bedfish just got hammered. I mean, I can remember years of fishing bed tournaments there, because usually you're fishing bed tournaments in May on Candlewood. There's a lot of fish still on beds. And every area that I went to where I knew that I had caught bedding fish in the past were gone. I mean, there was nothing anywhere. And I really struggled that day. My partner and I both struggled. I think I only caught 3 keepers. But that, as you can see on my list here, it was crossed off because that was a throwout. That turned out to be my worst finish of the year, which I think was 10th, or it couldn't have been 10th. I would have had some points there. But it was like out of the top 10, so it didn't help me at all. That was my throwout. So when you get your second tournament of the year is a throwout, as it turns out, I mean, you don't know at the time, that kind of hurts. Our third tournament was June 25th on the Hudson River, and I actually did okay. I finished 4th, so I got 37 points. So after that one, I was doing okay. And like I said, you guys can go back and see my tournament reports on these to get more specifics. Then the one that really hurt, because I had to keep it, was the night tournament. We do a night tournament every year on Candlewood Lake, and I personally hate night tournaments. I have had some good nights at night. I always catch a limit, but if you don't catch 4s, you're probably not going to do very well. And that was a night. You can go back and see that report on that tournament. And me and my partner both did okay. We caught fish. The guy I fished with actually got the lunker for the co-angler that night. And my first fish was a 5-pounder. After that, it was all downhill. Losing fish, just catching small fish. I had a limit, but it wasn't impressive. I wanted to finish in 11th in that one. That one killed. Because that one, you only get 30 points. That's a killer right there. So add the throwout one that was worse than 11th place, plus this one, and I was really in bad shape right there. Then in August, we had our Lake George tournament, which was okay. Finished 8th, got 33 points, not bad. Not as good as it could have been. If the wind had blown all day, I think it would have been really good, because I was getting a good spinnerbait bite in the morning when that wind was blowing. Then this wind died, and that spinnerbait bite died too. Next tournament after that was October 1st on Saratoga. Did well. My partner Dustin did awesome. He was first, and I was second. He had like 14 and plus. I had 14 plus. He had the lunker, which really helped him get the win. But good tournament, second place. I'll always take it. And then we finished up on our last tournament on the mighty Hudson. Now, the way it was going into that final tournament was either John or Andy were going to probably get Angler of the Year. They were right up there, neck and neck, 1 or 2 point difference. Whoever won that tournament essentially was going to win Angler of the Year. And as it turned out, John won the tournament. Andy, unfortunately, had boat trouble in that tournament. I haven't heard the whole story yet. I heard a little bit of it from Eddie, but I guess they were catching fish in the morning, and then his boat died. And just trying to get, and we were launching all the way down at Charles Ryder, and they were all the way up in at whatever that further ramp up there is in Kingston, I guess it was. I don't remember where they were. They were all the way up in a far creek up there, and so they were miles away from the ramp, 25 miles away from the ramp, and just getting, I can't imagine what it would be like. You're fishing a tournament and your boat dies, and what do? You're 25 miles from your boat, your trailer and your truck. So they just getting, somebody to drive them back and get, it messed up their whole day, and so they never wind up weighing in. So as it turned out, that really helped John win Angler of the Year. Andy, if he had fish, probably would have won it because he was ahead. I don't know why my Alexa's talking to me over there, but that's how it went. So I wound up, like I said, I finished 6th in that tournament, 35 points. Hold on, timeout. Okay, I'm back. So as I said, after the, as far as Angler of the Year went, John was first. As it turned out, I got the final standings here. Now, I don't know if I hold this up how well you guys can see that. I don't know how it's going to come out on the video. But John Ernest was first, 221 points. Angler of the Year, congratulations, John. Awesome year. Bill Vella finished second, Angler of the Year. He had 212. Andy went up in third with 210, and I went up in fourth with 208. So that was the top 4 guys right there. So not terrible, not great. I was in the money twice, so kind of paid for my season, not completely, but a lot of it. As far as next year goes, I don't know about that travel. Based on what the schedule looks like next year, I'm kind of up in the air. I'm not going to do that again. Candlewood, I love going there, but for a 160-mile ride, I can go 90 miles and go to Lake Winnipesaukee. So I've got so many other options up here now that it's just not really, I don't think it's going to work as far as my tournament fishing goes. So this year, I'm probably not going to do the Bergen schedule. I may look for some stuff up here in New Hampshire. I haven't decided yet. It's only November, so when schedules start coming out from some local clubs, I might look at that, or I might just fun fish. I haven't decided yet. But as far as the last tournament goes, I'm going to kind of do this, combine this with my final tournament on the Hudson River Report. That was October 22nd, the Hudson River. That was our big finale. Now, even if I won that tournament, and got 5 more points, I still wouldn't have won Angler of the Year. But, you're always trying to do the best you can. As it turned out, I finished in 6th place, and I caught 1 fish all day. My partner Dave and I tried everything, threw everything. We were in the river, we were in the creeks. We were catching fish, but there with that 15-inch minimum, it really hurts on the Hudson. It really hurts you trying to catch keepers. And I am by no means an expert on the Hudson. I don't really like fishing there. I know there's some guys who love it. They do great there. Me, if I ever fish there again, if I never fish there again, it might be too soon. Especially now where I live, it's really not. I'd rather go to the Connecticut River than go to the Hudson River. I don't have to worry about the tides. But I caught 1 fish. We were, moving around, hitting the suck holes, hitting the points on the river in the morning, and just wasn't happening. Whenever we did get a bite, it was a small fish. The 1 keeper I did get was when it was just, it was kind of a fluke. I figured I'd try throwing a tube for a little while. I threw that Power Team Lures tube out there, and then my line got messed up, and I was kind of messing around with my line. I go to pick it up, and the line was like moving away, and I set the hook, and it was a nice 2.5 pound smallie. I think it was like 2.6 or so. I don't remember what it was. But here's, I don't know if you guys can even see this. Yeah, it was 232, so, you know, that's a good fish for there, but, you know, you need 5 of those to make a difference. But I don't know if you get how well this is going to come out on the video, but that's the standings from the Hudson River Tough Bite for everybody. John wound up winning the tournament. Eric was second. Billy was third. Frank finished fourth. Johnny G was fifth, and I was sixth. And that's all she wrote. So, like I said, we got one fish all day in the boat. You know, fishing with Dave's a great guy. We had a good time fishing and talking and everything. But as far as catching bass that were keepers, that's another story there. So, like I said, 6th place. Would be nice to finish 5th, get a little cash. But you know, what are you going to do? So that was my overall season in the, you know, the 7 tournaments. I got 1 throw out. Just to recap quick. Best finish is a 2nd, a 4th, a 6th, a 7th, an 8th, and 11th. So the 11th is the one that really was a killer. That's what probably cost me. You know, when you lose Angler of the Year by, you know, what was it, 13 points. John had 221, I had 28, so 13. You know, so those 2 tournaments, you know, that 1 throw out, if that was better, that 2nd Candy tournament or that night tournament did a little better, it would have been a little closer. Who knows? But not a terrible year. Not a terrible year. Especially for the driving a little further than I'm used to. But really, like I said, the only lake that's farther, you know, Candlewood is further for me. Lake George was closer. Saratoga is closer. The Hudson River. When we went to the first time, and I forget which ramp that was. I'm drawing a blank. That was a little closer. The other one, when we went to Charles Ryder, that was a little farther than it would have been the old trip. Lake George, like I said, is closer. Saratoga is closer. But it was nice, like when we used to fish, when my mom lived over by Sagandaga, we would fish Sagandaga or Saratoga. I always had a place to stay. So now my mom has moved. She moved here in with me. Now I don't have a house over there. Instead of spending money on a hotel, I just get up in the morning and drive. So I just would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and drive over. And so when you get up that early and then drive, you know, 2.5 hours. And for a tournament, it's a little rough. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing that anytime soon again. Just too much travel. But that's the tournament season. So not a terrible year, not a great year. You know, you always want to try to win Angler of the Year. That's always the goal. My goal is always to try to do that, or at least be in the top 6. So 4th overall, not terrible. Could have been better, could have been worse, but you know, it was right there. 13 points, 2 tournaments is the difference. If you get, you know, if you figure if you get 5 or 6 more points, a couple tournaments, you know, that'll make up for that deficit. But so not a bad year. If I do decide to fish a circuit, if I decide to do something here in New Hampshire next year, as soon as I know that, I'll do a video on that and let you guys know. But I'm still kind of learning the lakes, you know, up here. I keep expanding, going out further. I'm pretty much looking at Google Maps and finding a lake, finding out if it's got a ramp, and I'm going there. So I have 2 more that I want to check out that are within, you know, half an hour from me. I want to try those. And then next year I'm definitely gonna, I haven't gotten over to Winnipesaukee yet. I haven't gotten over to Newfound Lake yet. I'm going over to Squam, Winnisquam. I haven't fished any of those bigger lakes in the state yet, and I really want to do that next year. So next year, I don't know. Am I going to look for a club, maybe fish some tournaments? That would force me to go to some of these new lakes, perhaps. Though I'd rather fun fish them, to be honest with you, instead of joining a club and learning them by donating my money to everybody else in the club as you learn. So that's kind of like what I'm doing now. Is kind of, I'm in the learning mode here after, you know, my whole life in New Jersey and knowing where every rock and laydown is in a lake. Now I'm going to lakes where, you know, the lake I've fished the most, I've maybe fished 5 times since I've been here, instead of 500. So, you know, I'm still learning the lay of the land, but I do love fishing up here. It's great. There's so many, you know, smaller bodies of water in the state of New Hampshire that are just loaded with bass, and there's nobody there when I go fishing. It's just great. So I will keep you posted on my tournament plans, if there are any. Even though I am enjoying doing the YouTube thing, going fishing and recording and trying to get better at editing and stuff like that, and using the Tacticam out there on the lake. And I do have an older GoPro that I haven't used. I may incorporate using both those cameras next year, and we'll see. So right now my desk is just a mess. I put a lot of like the stuff I used in the summer and early fall away. I'm starting to get out, the stuff for the winter fishing, like spider jigs and some of my football heads and out. And it's this. If you could see this table, it's a complete mess with baits. It looks like I don't know. It looks like a Bass Pro exploded on it here, but that's it. So that's it, guys. So that's my tournament, my final tournament recap, my season recap. The guys in Bergen are a great group of guys. I love fishing with them. I just don't know if it's going to work out as far as travel goes for next year for me. Right as of right now, it's not. Just the way I'm thinking. But who knows? Maybe one year the schedule will look good, and I'll be into it and say, hey, I'm going to come back. You never know. You never know. But I will miss fishing with the guys and seeing them as much as I did this year at the different tournaments. So that's it. So I will keep you guys posted on my fishing plans for next year, as if you guys care about tournaments. I'm going to try to get out and do some more on-the-water stuff this year. Like I said, I've got 2 new lakes I want to try, but the weather has gone from being unseasonably warm to like snow. So we had snow last night, nothing major. It turned to rain, as quick as it, gave us an inch of snow maybe on the ground. But it's going to be cold every day now. It was 60s, 70s every day. The weather was too warm. I was kind of hoping the Connecticut River was going to start getting cold, and I could get out there and do some, those smallies would start ganging up, but that hadn't happened yet. But it was so warm. Now it's all of a sudden, it's in the 40s every day. So that should start, I'm hoping this smallie bite, the river bite. So I'm hoping to get some filming over in the Connecticut River. I want to try these 2 new lakes, and just got to get some weather that's somewhat okay. I'm not going to go fish in the rain when it's 38 degrees. It's not that comfortable, and I don't know how the filming's going to be. So I don't know about tomorrow. I'm doing this on a Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, getting the weekend, we'll see. The weather forecast now is like 30s. I don't mind fishing in the upper 30s, low 40s, but when it's going to be 10, 15 mile an hour winds, that's not that fun. So I'm going to play it by ear as far as the weather goes, but hopefully I can get out a few more times. I was fishing in December up here last year, before it really got bad and it started to get icy. So we'll see. It all depends on the weather if I'll get a chance to get out. I might have gotten all this stuff out. I'm going to prepare for winter fishing, and I ain't going to be able to get out. But you never know. The weather could change again, and it could get warm again. So I don't know if I'm going to get out before the holidays. I'm going to be down in New Jersey for Thanksgiving, and by the time I get back, who knows? We'll see what the weather's like. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to get out before that. I don't even know if the weather's going to be nice enough to get out before that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Any questions on any of the lakes we fish tournament-wise? Any questions on it? If you guys are, have never done tournaments and are interested in just my 2 cents about them, let me know. Put that question in the comments. I'll answer it the best I can. I'll give you my 2 cents on fishing tournaments. And that's it. So you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Mark out.